right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. As always, I'm Libretti, your host. Happy Father's Day, everybody, to all you dads out there and to all you single mothers out there doing dad work, and to all you people, that are trying to take credit for being dads when really you're not dads, but you want to be, like the dog dads or dog moms. It's really just dog dads. It's Father's Day, for crying out loud. But let's call a spade here. That's not a real thing. I got a dog myself. It's a lot easier to take care of a dog than a child. But, congratulations. Go enjoy your discounted Applebee's dinner tonight or whatever you get for Father's Day. So congratulations. But to JPL 3, happy Father's Day. Because I'm not going to see you on Father's Day because I'm here in the compound doing God's work. So I hope you have a good day. I hope you're watching a couple of quality World War II and colored documentaries to celebrate. All right, got a lot going on this week. We got day number, I don't know what it is, 31, 32 maybe, of no air conditioning. So a quick little update on that. The guy actually came this time. He took a look. He's like, yeah, your unit needs to be replaced. No shit. I gotta bleep that out. But yeah, no kidding, dude. The last guy told us that 2 weeks ago. So he had to put an order in with the warranty company, yada, yada, yada. Still no AC. It's still 80 degrees in the house. I did get a window unit from my landlord while he continues to fight the good fight with the warranty company about expediting this process. That window unit cools about a 3 by 3 foot square, 3 foot by 3 square feet of room of space. Look, I'm not a math guy. All right, I just know that it is a tiny, compact area of actual cool air in the house, and that's where me and Randy hang out. So I'll keep you guys covered. We are still not quite there yet with blacklisting companies, but there's a couple on the in the bullpen, if you will, so I'll keep you all posted on that. Real quick, I want to show you guys this thing. You can't read it. If you're in YouTubeville, you can't read it, and then in iTunes land or whatever you're listening to, Spotify's, I got a gift from a buddy, a co-worker, a brother-in-arms before he left the unit. He's going on to do bigger and better things now, and he gave me this gift here. It's a framed print of a poem by Rudyard Kipling called The Trade. And it actually explains sort of like the inside camaraderie you get from working a job that you can't really talk about. So that's very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Very relatable in this situation for us in the military. A lot of times you can't really talk about what you do. So that was a cool little gift that the guy gave to a bunch of us for his time and us being, all working together and having to commiserate with each other and nobody else. So thank you for that. That was a cool thing. I'm going to keep it on my desk. And then when I move compounds, I'll keep it on that desk too. All right, moving right along real quick here. A few weeks ago, I did an LPDS treasure hunt. It was a picture of a mansion in New Orleans. And it was a little bit of a, not a sweepstakes, but a competition. How you doing? A random person, whoever commented correctly what the mansion was, and tagged somebody in the comment on Instagrams or Facebook, will receive this shout out and a free tank top. So the winner of that was, I actually don't even know his real name. It's Jazzy Jeff 2202. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say his name is Jeff. So Jeff got it correctly. It was the mansion, let me get this right, LaLaurie, I don't know how to pronounce it, LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans. That was the haunted mansion. It used to be a brothel, and then they did a whole bunch of killings and forced sex there, and then the ghosts now take up occupancy in that mansion now. And Nic Cage bought it. And then he actually had to give it up to the bank after, his previous tax issues back in like 2014, 2015 timeframe. So now it's back to the city again, or somebody owns it, but tried to take a tour of it, couldn't do it. Tours were sold out the day that we were there. The Creature and I were there visiting. But I got that picture, and Jazzy Jeff 2202 is the winner of that. So, Jeff, congratulations. I'll hit you up in the DMs, get your address information, and then we'll send you that tank top. So, nice work. We're going to try to do more of those in the future. I don't know if it's going to be a treasure hunt or just a little bit of a sweepstakes, a challenge, how you doing, to get the engagement going on the social medias and to get you guys looking forward to more stuff from the LPDS. So stay tuned for that. All right. What else we got here? Last week I wanted to talk about, remember I randomly just popped in my stupid brain about Epstein updates and crap? Well, I want to talk about that again, obviously, but perfect segue into the junction because we're talking about conspiracies anyway, so I'll probably flap my gills about that a little bit later on anyway, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Oscar Schlotter's knee braces. We all know some of you short kings didn't grow after middle school because of that dastardly bone issue in your knees. And we all know you continued to endure that physical and emotional pain in silence. Well, with Oscar Schlotter's knee braces, now you don't have to suffer anymore. Just slap those bad boys on, let the patented puss pad technology ease the pain, and you'll be doing parachute sprints in no time. So to get a pair today, visit www.backtothegrind.com and use the promo code 19and2 to get 2.9% off your first pair. I was doing a little work around the house, and I was in the catcher's position, and I had to get down on the knees, and it reminded me of the traumatic knee pain I have. I've been suffering in silence for so long, called Oscar Schlotter's. And then I got the call from Oscar himself. So check out those knee braces. They're very good. They go underneath your pants too, so nobody even has to know that you're wearing knee puss pads, so you can pretend to be tough. And now you can no longer use that as an excuse to not do anything with your life. So there you go. Call today, 2.9% off. All right, the Cage Fact, real quick one. In an interview recently, they were asking about Massive Talent and his other movies and all the other stuff that we've been talking about for months now, really. And one of the things they asked him was, what movies would he what Nic Cage movies would he like to save for posterity if he had to pick? And he picked 3 movies that he would save or preserve, if you will, for posterity. And they were Pig, Bringing Out the Dead, and Leaving Las Vegas. Now, I've never seen Bringing Out the Dead yet. Actually, I had to go check that out, so that's a rookie mistake on my part. But Pig and Leaving Las Vegas are top-tier films. Leaving Las Vegas, he won the Academy Award for, as we've discussed many times. And then Pig, I mean, you know how I feel about Pig. Is a quality film, top tier. So that makes sense. I'll have to get back to you on the Bringing Out the Dead to see what the hell that's all about. But it must be good. It must be one of those like independent style films that didn't really make a lot of headway in the media, in the Hollywood circles, because they were too busy covering up child rape and whatever they were doing in their ivory tower. But apparently it's good enough for him to want to preserve it forever. And that's saying a lot because he made a lot of good movies that he chose not to preserve. So I'm going to go check that out, and I'll report back to you. Maybe we'll do a review or something like that. Or I'm sure it'll bring to light a couple more future Cage Facts. So there you go. All right. Let's get right into the good stuff today. All right, spinning on into the junction. We're talking conspiracy theories today. All right? Now, we're not deep diving. Okay, I want to put a couple caveats there. We're not deep diving into all these conspiracies. We are not arguing for the validity of any of these conspiracies. We are just talking about them. We're having a good, silly, fun time talking about shit that may or may not be real in this world. Okay? Sometimes you can have a lot of fun with some of this stuff. You don't have to get all crazy tinfoil hatty, all right? And that's what we're going to try to do here, okay? And you can make the decision on your own, for some of these anyway, on whether you think they're real or not. And there's some of these are interesting. And this is fan feedback. We asked what your favorite conspiracy was to think about or learn about, or to be entertained by. Whether you believe it or not, just something that kind of lives rent-free in your brain for whatever reason. So we're just going to get right into it, all right? So the first one here, this gal submitted, her favorite is the conspiracy that Ted Cruz is the Zodiac Killer. Ted Cruz is is he a senator? Yeah, he's a senator from Texas. Senator, congressman, senator, maybe, whatever. He's run for president many times. He looks like Grandpa Munster from the Munsters, the Dracula-looking fella. He can be his son. It's probably, Ted Cruz is probably part of the Munster family. He has lineage, it looks like. But for whatever reason, years ago, somebody started this rumor that Ted Cruz was a Zodiac Killer. Now, realistically speaking, they believe the Zodiac Killer is dead. There was actually some recent information out there over the past couple months that they possibly identified the guy, but that he is dead. He was, he was an old guy. This happened back in the 70s, the Zodiac killings and what have you. I think it was in California or whatever. I don't know. But somebody started the rumor, and it spread like wildfire. There was really no information, like no hard evidence that you can actually link to this being true, because that's what makes a conspiracy really good, is if there's something real to attach it to, whether it's actual evidence to prove it or just something that's coincidental that you can attach it to. I'll get into something like that in a second, another example later on, but there was none of that. Somebody put it out there in the world that he's a Zodiac Killer simply because nobody knows who the Zodiac Killer was. He was just killing astrology enthusiasts for no goddamn reason, and nobody knew who he was. So, why couldn't it be Ted Cruz, I guess they're thinking. You can't prove that it's not. So, it's spread. It's funny to think about. I don't think that it affects Ted Cruz in a serious way or his family. I can't speak to that for sure. That is the one thing about these wacky, zany conspiracy theories when they go after particular people is if they get legs and they're serious accusations and they're not true, those are detrimental to that human being and his family, her family. This case, I think he understands that it's just people just like to troll, and that's what they're doing, so I don't know. But it's funny, entertaining to think about. So thank you for that submission, young lady. You're a true American hero. All right, another submission here. This guy, here we go. I'm going to get me going on one already. This guy thinks that the Epstein list of people that visited his island is not being released by the FBI because it contains the names of the most powerful people around the country and the world, and they got to protect these people. And which brings me to what I wanted to discuss last week when it popped in my head randomly, was that there was just another article out there saying that they're going to continue to hold off on releasing the list and the further information that they're holding on it. And they gave no real reason. They didn't even lie and say, oh, well, the investigation's ongoing, so we don't want to release the names while we're continuing to investigate them. Nothing. They just said we're not releasing it yet. Which begs the question, why aren't they doing it? Why would you not want to identify the people on this list that have visited Sex Pedo Island to go do forced sex to young gals and bring them to justice? Why would you not want to do that? Again, there's really only two reasons. One, to give the benefit of the doubt, which I'm not doing, by the way, but somebody with a bigger heart than I do might, is that they're withholding the names because they got ongoing investigations to try to really get some more hard evidence than just a manifest on an island. Because there's still plausible deniability there, And if you're going by the criminal court of law, when you need beyond a reasonable doubt style evidence, that's not going to hold a lot of water. Okay? The defense would be wrong. So maybe they're looking for more evidence to really nail these bastards and get them. I don't think that's the case, though. I tend to lean towards what this fellow believes to be the conspiracy, that they're withholding this information because they know these guys are the most powerful in the world and they're trying to protect them. And maybe they're being paid off, they're being coerced, they're being blackmailed to not release the information. It's been pretty well known as of recent how easy it is to compromise the top leadership in the FBI these days. So that could be what's going on. Now, again, I'm not saying it's true or not. From a personal bias standpoint, I think that might be the case. But you guys can continue to do your own digging and make your own opinions and educate yourself appropriately. One thing I do like to do here, as you know, is to keep bringing light to all the information that we find on this, because it's still one of the most baffling things to me in the past 10 years that this is going on, and it's still the least popular story in American news right now. Not bringing to justice and not bringing to light the mass rape that's been going on that island and all the people involved in it, and that all the complicit people, all the ones that let it happen, nothing is happening to them. So I'm going to keep bringing it to light. Speaking of which, keep going down the rabbit hole real quick. Another article came out that I think it was, I don't know if it was the roommate or just a fellow inmate with Ghislaine Maxwell, who is the ex-girlfriend of Epstein, the madam, if you will, of the whole child sex ring. Apparently, an inmate was offered money to go murder Ghislaine in her cell. This is a couple weeks ago. So the story continues, whether that's true or not. Now, this was provided by her defense lawyers to show that they need to do something about getting her out of prison, maybe put her on her house arrest or doing something while they appeal the decision, because her life is in danger now. And I'm going to be honest, whether it's a ploy or not, I think her life is in danger. Should she be out of jail? No. Does she have more information to give? Possibly. If they can just offer her protection for that information, maybe we'll have something here. But yeah, I do believe that her life is probably in danger. Just like old Jeff's life was in danger in there from getting suicided. And we did recently talk about another guy. Who is it? The son of the Deutsche Bank CEO or whatever he was. The son who was an FBI informant. They've just found him dead, randomly suicided or whatever. They have no cause of death, of course. Just showed up dead one day after he came out and said he was an informant. And now we got these shenanigans continuing to go on. Look, this is all I'm saying, folks. Individually speaking, each individual story over the past several years is seemingly plausible on the surface level. If you're just given a quick blurb update, this guy was found dead. This inmate committed suicide. This person got life threats. Death threats. Life threats. What's a life threat? Idiot. Death threats. All seemingly innocuous. Again, very surface level. You get a quick how you doing, and then it's on to the next story. No one really bats an eye at it. That's not the saying. Bats an eyelash. Is that the saying too? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. You know the thing. But if you dig, if you just read the next couple lines below that headline, that malarkey, you can easily smell something fishy. Easily. And then you start looking at the relationships between all these weird, seemingly innocuous things going on. And you start to think. You start to go down the rabbit hole. Your cloth hat starts turning a little tinfoily. And that's how it happens. That's how you get down these rabbit holes, and that's how you get these people that are considered wacky conspiracy theorists. People probably consider me one of those because I love talking about this shit, and it's super entertaining. But some of this stuff is a little fishy. This one being the big one for me. As you know, if I was to believe any conspiracy going on, it's something fishy going on with this Epstein stuff still. There's just too many coincidences and too many suicides going on. How many people within the Clinton family circle or friends circle over the years has been suicided or died of random weird causes? Like 50-something? It's an egregious number. I didn't just make that up. It's like 53, 55, something like that. It's unbelievable, the amount. Imagine 50-plus people that were killed either by botched robberies, murder, or suicide. I know maybe 2 total. Maybe. But 50? I mean, all it is fishy. I'm not saying it's all real and all believable, but it's fishy enough that there should be questions being asked. And this guy right here with his feedback, he's asking the right questions. At least in my mind. Again, I don't want to put my opinions on you people. That's not what we're here for. You can go do your own research and digging and tinfoil hat making if you want. That's just what I feel about that. But I'm going to stop because it's crushing my soul. I want to keep talking about it. It's ridiculous how much is going on with that whole story and how it's being silenced. So we'll just keep moving on. All right. The next one here, this person likes the conspiracy. Likes it, but likes the story of the theory that Queen Elizabeth had Princess Diana killed all those years ago. She wanted to get it done, have it done for her own, under the table reasons, and had it done. Now, if you look at the accident itself from the death there, it was an accident where their car, Princess Diana's car, was fleeing from paparazzi that were chasing her also in their vehicle, and they were speeding away and they crashed in that tunnel or whatever it was, and that's how she died in the wreck. Again, seemingly innocuous. Seems pretty boilerplate as far as accidents go. But if you dig a little bit, or if you just think about it a little bit, why were paparazzi speeding to follow them like that in a high-speed chase through London or wherever they were? And all that traffic and stuff. That's a little weird. Why were they so aggressively going for pictures? It was paparazzi, they said. I believe that's the story. It was paparazzi chasing them down. Just for pictures? For what? She's royalty. You're going to see her again. So that was a little fishy that all went down at a very convenient time. It was like right after her husband was caught cheating on her or some malarkey like that. And now he's married to this bimbo who doesn't hold a candle in the wind to Princess Diana as far as the looks go and the intelligence go. So I don't know what the hell that asshole was thinking. But now she's dead. I think he married that uggo. And Queen Elizabeth just recently, she's 155 years old, said that when Prince William, or whatever his name is, Charles, when he becomes king, she can become queen. So she was on queen suspension for all these years after he remarried to this whatever she is. And now just finally Queen Elizabeth's like, okay, you can be queen. So now it's all coming together for Prince Charles and Princess Uggo. So I guess good on them. So that adds a little layer of fishiness to the whole thing. Not to mention the fact that the royal family seems to have no problem at all continuing to protect their child-raping relative, Prince Andrew, that sleazeball who was hanging out in Sex Pedo Island. You see what I'm saying about the connections to stuff, by the way? Mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. So it's perfectly reasonable to think that Queen Elizabeth and the royal family could have had a part in the death of Princess Diana. Now, there's really, again, no hard evidence to suggest that. All those things I just pontificated about are theories and soft, what the hell is that word for the evidence? It's not hard evidence, it's circumstantial. That's the word. So, there you go. All right, moving on along before, again, I go right back to the rabbit hole I don't want to get into. Okay, this guy right here, the conspiracy theory he likes is that the theory that Sturgill Simpson, the country music star, is really a CIA assassin. Now, not knowing anything about Sturgill Simpson besides he makes music, I don't even know the names of his songs. I heard his name before. I know he's successful. He does country, so he probably wears a lot of button-downs with American flags on them and sleeveless button-downs that are tucked into starched jeans, so that's cool. But the CIA assassin thing, I did a little digging on that, and it came to light through another country music singer who is sort of like a satirical country music singer. His name is Wheeler Walker Jr. That's not even his real name, by the way. That's his stage name, his joke name that he goes by. And he did an episode of Joe Rogan years ago where he joked about that, where he said he loves Sturgill Simpson, he's a great performer, but he thinks he's a CIA assassin. And that's kind of where the joke began and ended. So this guy likes that. It's funny to think about, but there's really no legs behind it. There's nothing else behind besides that one video of a joke country music singer saying it as a clear joke. So that's fun, but it's a very parochial, if you will, when it comes to tinfoil hat theories. So there you go. All right, moving on. This guy right here, this is an interesting one here. This is related to space, not aliens, but space. So years ago, NASA put out an article reporting that an asteroid was coming directly for Earth on a trajectory to Earth, and it was going to hit Earth around 13 April 2029. And that it was going to be one of those Earth-killing, like, apocalypse extinct-inducing style of asteroids, whatever they call them. It's going to wipe us all out, Armageddon style. Well, the next day, that article was gone from existence. And a new article was posted instead claiming that the asteroid will pass by Earth on 13 April 2029. It was like a nothing to see here, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain situation, where it was like they accidentally told the truth, and then someone read it and was like, NASA, pull it now. And then they switched the narrative pretty damn quick. And since then, this was a number of years ago, since then apparently strange sort of stuff has been going on in the NASA research, technology development kind of thing. Movies have come out about apocalypse-style asteroids killing the Earth. Different sort of asteroid finding and asteroid mitigating technologies have been experimented with and developed since then. But I guess we'll find out in 7 years. I forgot the name of the asteroid, Apophis, Adonis, something like that. You guys can look it up. Just look up 13 April 2029 asteroid, and you'll find the information. I forgot to memorize it myself, but it talks about it. You'll be able to see it from the sky and this and that, and it's gonna pass us by. No big deal. We'll see about that. Coincidentally, 13 April 2029 is Friday the 13th. So this could be a very long game troll by NASA and the U.S. government to make people to spin their wheels in the tinfoil hat realm thinking about this as a real thing. That was actually the first thing I looked up when I saw 13 April is when it's coming. First thing I thought, I was like, oh, it could be Friday the 13th, but probably just saying that to get people scared. And it worked. If you can look up the articles of people talking about this conspiracy and this and that. So it is very interesting to look into, entertaining for sure. And I guess in 7 years, we'll find out if we're going to be toast or not on Friday the 13th. So stay tuned for that. All right. Excuse me. Another one here. This is a funny one. And I'll get into what I was bringing up earlier today about making a decision whether a conspiracy is real or fake, okay? This one here, this guy's favorite is the theory that birds aren't real. There's this conspiracy going around, and I'll get into the details of this one a little bit more, that over the past several decades, maybe half a century even, maybe more, that the CIA has been slowly killing off birds and replacing them with robots, with drones that also do surveillance. And now, in 2022, by this time, we're the 21st century, all birds are fake. They're all CIA drones and robots that have been so technologically sound you can't even discern the difference between them and what a real bird used to be. Now, here's why this one is fun, okay? This one's fake. Spoiler alert, this one is unequivocally fake. And they did a whole 60 minutes expose on it with the guy who created it. Okay, so this was created back in 2017. There was some sort of rally going on. I don't know exactly where. D.C., New York, L.A. It doesn't matter. Wherever the hot spots are for people who don't like to go to work and like to do rallies, this is where it was. And in 2017, this guy thought it would be a good idea, funny, like, hey, this rally is for, it was in the wake of President Trump's inauguration. So there was the women's rights, don't grab me by the pussy, stop Trump, whatever, all that stuff was going on in D.C. And this guy decided to just hold up a cardboard sign that said, as a joke, like, let's see if anyone notices this, just a sign completely and totally unrelated to the protesting going on, and he just wrote, "Birds aren't real." And that was it. And before you know it, the internet took off with it. So much so that the guy had to he dropped out of school to focus on growing this conspiracy. I don't know if he was able to monetize it or not, but it was getting so much legs from the internet world and the meme world that he was just trying to continue going with the experiment, see how believable this can get and how many people he can get to believe this cockamamie idea. And he came out with it maybe a year ago. Last year, 2021, on 60 Minutes, he did a whole interview on it. And people still believe that birds aren't real. They think now that the government told him to go on public national television and deny it being real and say it was a joke just to get people off the scent. But it's fake, guys, okay? This is an unequivocally fake one. Anybody, again, with maybe half a brain and a heartbeat and two peepers that can see can go outside and tell you that birds are real. That's the government. Look, to give the government and the agency that much credit is asinine. These people can't even run the post office. And as I mentioned before, the post office is the most simple thing you can run. It is taking one thing, one physical thing from one location and sending it to another location. That's it. It's paper logistics. The easiest thing you can do just on a large scale in the country. I have this shit I want to send from myself to Joe McNutsack over there, and I need an agency to be able to do that. And that's what the post office is supposed to do. And the government can't even run that right. So just the idea to think that they were able to hunt down every bird, the billions of birds in this country alone, extinct them all, and replace them with perfect replica mechanical drones that also do surveillance. I mean, it's so out of left field. The fact that anybody actually believes it is crazy. But here's the kicker. We're talking about, hard evidence that lines up with conspiracies. Sometimes it's actually related. Sometimes it's coincidental. Well, coincidentally enough, years earlier than when this Birds Aren't Real conspiracy actually started, I was in college. This was maybe 2007 time frame, 2008. I took a class about emerging surveillance technologies because I was in a Homeland Security degree. And one of the things that they were working on back then, this is a private company. I forgot what company. Raytheon, General Dynamics. I don't know who it was. But they were creating a surveillance drone, if you will, that resembled a bird from far away. So if you're looking hundreds of feet far away, you can see something flying in the air. It sort of looked like a bird. Very superficially. And it would have been able to latch on to certain portions of power lines, like by the transformers and where the wires are exposed by the poles, and recharge. So it was all electric. It wasn't gas powered like our Reapers and our military drones out there. This one is, electric battery power, whatever it is, and it can recharge there. But when you get closer to the drone, it was clearly robotic. There was no feathers on it. There was nothing like that. It just looked visually like a bird from far away. But upon further inspection, it was clearly not. Coincidentally, again, this is the evidence that they use to connect the dots on this conspiracy. Now, some of the questions they haven't answered. What about the birds that people hunt every year during bird hunting seasons? Quail, dove, turkey. We eat that shit. You hunt those birds and you eat them. Are we eating surveillance accoutrement? I mean, what are we doing here? Is the government only releasing real birds in certain regions during hunting season? What about all the bird shit out there? I saw an absolutely cockamamie theory that was being thrown around, was that the birds go back to the mothership at the CIA and they get refilled with fake shit so that they can go out and shit in the streets to keep the lie going. So that's the answer for that one. Still no answer for the birds that are hunted and eaten. I mean, do we have to go out and shoot and kill every bird to prove that they're fake? To prove one of them is fake? What about the eggs? What about when they have little bird chickadees in nests? Did the bird fairy from the agency come flying down at night when we're all sleeping and hide eggs in nests to create these little baby bird drones that happen to grow and flourish into real adult-sized bird drones? I mean, this is one of the most cockamamie things. Again, I can't even think of a better word. The people who believe this are absolute nincompoops. Absolute nincompoops. There is nothing logical about this whatsoever. The plausibility, the realism behind all these birds out there that are supposed to be drones, the capability of the U.S. government to pull this operation off, I mean, give me a break. Give me an absolute break. And I know there's going to be a couple of mush brains who are leaking brain matter out of their ears, are so stupid, who are going to challenge this and be like, oh, no, you're just a puppet for the government because I'm in the military after all, so I must be, Uncle Sam is speaking through me, and I'm just trying to quiet everybody down, so there's nothing to see here, folks. Pay no attention to the birds out there. They are real. Wink, wink. Give me a break. That's what I think is the funniest part about this. Not the story behind it, or the idea that they aren't real. It's the fact that so many people believe this malarkey. And that's a good filter right there, actually, thinking about it now, that you could do when you're trying to make new friends. If you're dating, you just ask them, hey, do you think birds are real? And see what they say. If they start going down the rabbit hole why they think they're not, that's an easy swipe left. Oh, you're an idiot. See you later. Have a good life. You don't want to surround yourself with idiots, folks. You want to be the idiot in the group, okay? That's what I do, because then I learn and grow, and then when I become as smart as the people in that group, I leave them to go find smarter people so I can be the idiot again. And that's, again, how we learn and grow, and we all get smarter. So if you meet one of these folks, if they even take a pause when you ask them, hey, do you believe the birds aren't a real thing? Do you think they're real or they're fake? And they go, well, that's a tough question. Just get up and walk away, okay? Or swipe left, revoke the match, turn lesbian, change your sexual orientation from whatever that person is to the opposite. You don't want to be a part of that. You don't want to be involved in that level of buffoonery, okay? And that's a lesson he learned here, an LPDS lesson. Don't be part of buffoonery, all right? But if you think about all these, as cockamamie, stupid word, cockamamie, damn it, I can't get it out of my head. As crazy as some of these sound, and as ridiculous as they are, and how unbelievable some of these are, like Flat Earth, I forgot to talk about. Nobody actually brought that one up. The JFK assassination is another big one that people talk about. MLK assassination, all these, that the reason why conspiracies are still so prevalent and investigated by people is not just because they're fun or something for people to do in their spare time. It's because, and believe me, you can hate on me all you want for this. This is not my opinion. This is fact. But there have been real life conspiracies that have come to fruition in this country over the years. Again, not because I want them to, just because that happened. Okay? If you look back, Operation Northwoods, if you don't know anything about that, go look that up. That was the U.S. government's fake, made-up operation. I believe that was the one where they were going to crash a commercial airliner filled with people and blame the Cubans or the Russians or the communists so that they can start a war. Okay? That's a real thing. That really happened. They found the documents and the plans to do that, and JFK put the kibosh on it. Coincidentally enough, that poor bastard took it in the brain shortly after. So, again, that begs the question of the JFK conspiracy. We'll get into that in a second. I think the hotline question is about that, but just a quick caveat about all this when you're thinking about how can anyone believe this shit. It's because some of this stuff has happened. Okay, go look Operation Northwoods up. Go look up, I forgot what it's called, that got us into the Vietnam War. The fake crap that they did to get people into the Vietnam War. Go look up MK Ultra, CIA's MK Ultra operation, where they were dosing criminals and all these other people with LSD, acid, and then putting them out there on the streets to do stuff. Go read up on how they did that to, what's that crazy guy's name? Charles Manson. How many times did they release him from prison for no reason whatsoever? They found some bullshit reason enough to keep releasing him so he can go and build his cult that killed people. Come to find out, there's a lot of hard evidence out there to suggest that the agency was feeding him LSD and having him go out and do stuff for them. Go look up Operation Midnight Climax. That's another great one. Real quick, speaking of MK Ultra, the Unabomber was a victim of something similar to that over at Harvard, where he was getting dosed and screwed up mentally by these psychs and doctors that were government funded, and he went off the deep end. So And this is, again, this is not my opinion. This is just what happened. This is out there. This is facts out there. Whether I like them or not personally, it doesn't matter. What I think about it, that's just what it is. But go look up Midnight Climax is where the CIA was secretly, again, kind of going back to the MK Ultra stuff, they created this fake brothel that had two-way mirrors in all the rooms. And these prostitutes would lure in their johns and bring them in and then dose them with LSD and watch them do sex from the other side of the two-way mirror to investigate the effects or something. I don't know exactly what the reason was, but that's a real thing. Okay? And don't forget about the other one that crazy guy Alex Jones got video footage of. What the hell was that? Greenbrier Lodge? Crap, I forgot the name of the grove. Something Grove. Crap, it's going to bug me. I got to find this out. Damn it, Libretti, what the hell is it? Bohemian Grove, that's it. Nailed it. That was another crazy conspiracy. Bohemian Grove, where all the rich people would go to this place called Bohemian Grove. All the powerful people in politics and what have you would go there, and they would have these weird seances and rituals where they're praying to like this owl god and burning effigies and stuff like that. And Alex Jones, that crazy bastard, got snuck onto the compound there in Bohemian Grove and filmed it all. And it was almost like that documentary series, The Jinx, where you think it's just going to be like speculation, but at the end of the documentary, the guy like confesses and it completely blows the whole thing out of the water, and they're like, "Holy crap, we got it! This is not even what we set out for." That's sort of what it was like. He was going to investigate, ask some questions. The next thing you know, he's watching these seances and weird rituals and filming it with all these rich people, all these rich politicians and big-timers that went there. It was nuts. So it's perfectly understandable for people to be inquisitive, to say the least, when you hear a new crazy cockamamie conspiracy theory, because there have been enough that have come to fruition and been true to beg the question, what else is true? Okay? All right, we got one more here we got on the hotline. And then I'll stop, running my dick sucker. All right, so stand by here. Let's get this popped up.
Hello. My favorite conspiracy theory is the Kennedy assassination, and it was kind of revived by Oliver Stone's newest documentary. You should check that out if you haven't already. But he talks briefly about how you think it'd be hard for the government to, pin everything on Lee Harvey Oswald, but really they had patsies in every single city, and it just happened to line up to where he was the one in Dallas that time. So they talk about how the CIA was making him kind of pretend like he was an operative, but really he was, a pawn in their big plan. So you should check that out, the Oliver Stone. I think it's, I forget what it's called, but I think it's on Stars or Showtime, but it's legit. Okay, bye, Tim.
All right, well, there you have it. JFK one. I'm not going to get too into the details on that one. That's been so well documented over the years, especially by Oliver Stone. Now, that guy has a little cockamamie brain when it comes to his making movies about things. But I believe this thing that the Wet Cat was talking about on the hotline there was an actual documentary. So this is not a personal opinion piece. This is just relaying facts that he investigated and acquired through his investigations and research about further details on the whole JFK assassination situation, which, as everybody knows, is a wild one. It's very popular. It's been very well investigated, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions. And they're still redacting a lot of information from the government's end and not releasing a whole lot of stuff there. And one of the theories behind that is that because there's still people alive that were involved in the whole agency conspiracy to kill him, so they're protecting those people. So I'm not going to get too deep into that one, but that's a wild one. I do have to go see that documentary because that's another one that I get deep down the rabbit hole on to find out the truth behind. Another one is real quick, I'm not going to get too much into it, is the Martin Luther King Jr. assassination. Apparently, there's even more evidence to suggest a conspiracy behind that there was the CIA that had him killed. And their story behind it and their cover-up was way worse and way sloppier than the JFK one. But because I guess not enough people cared about it, they're not investigating as much. I don't know. I haven't dug too deep into it myself. Maybe I will. But that's a crazy one, too, to figure out why they would do something like that as well. But, again, all this stuff is interesting. I'm surprised actually nobody mentioned anything more about the aliens. I mean, we've talked about that so often with the UFOs and the aliens and the how you doings. But there's just so much out there to keep you entertained, keep your brain working, if you will, improving. And if for nothing else, you don't have to believe the conspiracies. You can just look into them to have fun and to also use it as as an exercise for your brain. To go critically analyze something, look at all sides of a particular topic, educate yourselves on every piece of information possible that you can get your hands on, and then you can form your own educated opinion that's based on evidence and facts and not on some bullshit headline you see on the news media or what somebody told you on social media to think. And that kind of brings us back to the big lessons we always try to teach here at the LPDS is how to think for yourselves, how to take in information, how to be open to learning from other people's opposing viewpoints so that you can learn and grow and make your own educated opinions based off of that. So you don't have to believe these conspiracies. You don't have to wear the tinfoil hat. You don't have to think the government's after us for every single thing and become a crazy person. But remain interested. For nothing else, you can learn about all the absolute morons who believe stuff like the birds aren't real. That's out of control. And at least get a good laugh at some of those dopes out there who are probably going to hate me now. Maybe I'll get some hate mail from them because I'm calling them out for being idiots. And I don't mind saying that either. They probably don't even realize I'm talking about them. They're so stupid. Well, that's all I got today, I think. Let me make sure. That's it. All the conspiracies for the day. What I think I'm going to do next week is I might pick a conspiracy. I'll put out maybe a list of a couple conspiracies, more of the fun ones, perhaps, and I'll do a singular deep dive into the origin of that. Different from the birds, how you doing? We're not going to do the birds one again because that's garbage. We'll do something a little bit more interesting that has a little bit more legs, and we'll do a little deep dive into that, onto why people think it's real and why people think it's fake. Just, again, it's an exercise in thinking and building an argument and forming opinions in the most critically analyzing way, and we could try to have some fun with it. So maybe I'll do that, so stay tuned for that. But before we go, real quick, the big three. All right. Number one, exercise every day. By the way, for you new folks out there in the LPDS universe, the big three is the three pillars we like to live by to make us better, happier, more positive, grateful human beings, and to pass that on to the rest of the world and the people you interact with, and to help you stay strong in life. So number one, exercise every day. Easiest thing to do, get your steps in. Okay, go for a walk, do jumping jacks, whatever you got to do to get steps in and burn calories, to get those endorphins going and the good chemicals surging through your body so you can feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally. All right, number two, the hardest one, don't be a shitty person. It's the hardest one because it still goes on by a lot of otherwise good people. Okay, and it's hardest for me to refrain from doing because it's so easy these days to just lob shit talks out in a serious way on social media and forget about it. But don't do it. Take the step back. Understand that you're dealing with human beings before you go out and be shitty to somebody, and you'll be better for it. Okay. And then number three, the most important one: be genuinely thankful and grateful for everything you have in your life. Okay. If you always take that step back, take the deep breath, and look at the good you have in your life and focus on that, you'll spend less time focusing on the negative shit going on in your lives that most of the time you can't even control, so you're spinning your wheels, getting angry about it. You spend less time on that, and it becomes easier to be a not shitty person, so you'll be happier in that regard. You couple that with exercising and get the chemical flow into your body, and you're losing weight and you're staying in shape and you're feeling healthier, and it all comes together. It all comes together slowly but surely, folks. It'll all come together. You'll be a better, happier, less stressful person, steeped in gratitude and humility, and not depression, anxiety, and negative energy. All right? Now that's all I got. Okay? Thank you guys again for listening. You guys are great. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends and enemies. Stay tuned for more little mini LPDS sweepstakes for free merch, potentially. We still got tank tops left, so reach out to me if you want to get your hands on a tank. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.